Sir, I'm going to need you to leave that seat, now! The words slice through the first-class cabin like a blade through silk. Sharon Walker's perfectly manicured hand hovers over Damon Pierce's shoulder, not quite touching, as if proximity to his dark skin might contaminate her. The other passengers pretend not to watch. They always do. Damon doesn't look up from his iPad, where quarterly projections for Nexus Dynamics glow against the screen. $127 million in aviation contracts this year alone. The irony isn't lost on him. "I believe you're mistaken," he says, voice steady as the plane beneath them. "The mistake," Sharon's voice drops to a whisper that somehow carries to every corner of the cabin, "is you thinking you belong here." Behind her, Richard Pemberton stands with the confidence of a man who's never been told no. His smile says everything his words don't need to. A teenager in row 3 raises her phone. The red recording light blinks like a warning. "You have exactly 9 minutes." Damon finally meets Sharon's eyes. "Before you realize this is the biggest mistake of your career." What would you do? Comply? Fight? Or would you do what Damon Pierce is about to do? Bring an entire airline to its knees? The Patek Philippe on Damon's wrist reads 2:47 p.m. 3 weeks ago, at exactly this time, he'd purchased this ticket. First class. Seat 2A. Seattle-bound for the most important acquisition of his career. Now, Sharon Walker's French-tipped nails tap against her hip, each click a countdown to confrontation. "Security is already on their way," she announces, loud enough for the entire cabin to hear. The physical telling is deliberate. Her rigid spine, the way she angles her body to block the aisle, establishing dominance in her domain. 2 officers appear at the cabin door. Marcus Thompson, early 30s, doubt already creasing his forehead. Kevin O'Brien, older, harder, the kind who follows orders without questions. They move with the careful steps of men who've handled these situations before, but something in Marcus's eyes suggests he's not comfortable with this one. "Officers," Sharon's voice drips with false concern, "this gentleman refuses to vacate a seat that doesn't belong to him." Richard Pemberton pushes forward, his Tom Ford suit rustling with impatience. "Finally, I've been waiting 20 minutes for my seat." He holds the words like weapons, each emphasis a reminder of who belongs and who doesn't. But his hands shake slightly, the tremor of a man whose empire is crumbling, who needs this small victory to feel powerful again. Damon extends his boarding pass with the same precision he uses to sign million-dollar contracts. "Officers, please verify my documentation." Marcus takes the paper, and his expression shifts. "Ma'am, his name is clearly—" "That's impossible." Sharon doesn't even look. "Check again. The system shows Mr. Pemberton in 2A. The contrast is sharp as broken glass. Damon in his Armani suit, calm as deep water. Sharon, designer uniform immaculate but trembling with barely contained indignation. Richard, smirking like he's already won, though sweat beads at his temple. The power dynamics play out in posture, in tone, in the space each person claims. Maya Williams's live stream counter ticks past 5,000 viewers. Comments flood the screen faster than she can read them. "This is happening right now, y'all. First class. Black man with receipts getting kicked out." Her generation doesn't just witness injustice. They broadcast it. Captain James Morrison emerges from the cockpit, his weathered face a map of 30 years in the sky. Sharon immediately moves to intercept him, whispering urgently while gesturing toward Damon. Morrison's jaw tightens. He's seen this before, knows how it ends, but protocol is protocol. "Sir," Morrison approaches with the measured steps of a man walking on ice. "Perhaps we can find you another seat. No need for—" "Captain," Damon's voice cuts clean. "I'm Damon Pierce, CEO of Nexus Dynamics. This is my assigned seat." He doesn't plead. He states facts like laying bricks, solid, undeniable, building toward something larger. Richard's laughter cracks like a whip. "CEO? Right. And I'm the President of the United States." The laughter spreads to a few passengers, nervous chuckles from those who need to pick a side, but haven't decided which one yet. But behind the bravado, Richard's mind races. Does the name sound familiar? Has he heard it in the bankruptcy proceedings that consume his days? Sharon seizes the moment. "Sir, impersonating an executive is a federal offense. You're only making this worse for yourself." For a moment, Sharon hesitates. Something in Damon's calm certainty makes her doubt. Her supervisor's voice echoes in her memory. "When in doubt, maintain authority." She pushes the doubt down, locks it away with 20 years of similar moments. Damon reaches for his phone with deliberate slowness. Each movement calculated to show he's not a threat, just a man about to prove a point. He dials, activates the speaker. The cabin holds its breath. "Marcus, it's Damon." The pause stretches like taffy. "Yes, the Damon." The voice that fills the cabin is warm, familiar, unmistakably genuine. "Mr. Pierce, how's the flight to Seattle? The Bradley acquisition papers ready?" Sharon's face cycles through emotions like a slot machine. Disbelief, anger, fear, back to anger. But she's invested too much to retreat now. Anyone can fake a phone call. Anyone can have a friend play along. The doubt in her voice is a hairline crack in a dam. Everyone hears it. Patricia Hayes, the cabin service director, materializes beside Sharon. 25 years of experience reading situations, and this one screams lawsuit. She takes in the scene, the cameras, the witnesses, the documentation. But Sharon is senior crew. The chain of command holds, even when it's wrapped around your neck. "Ma'am," Jennifer, a junior flight attendant, whispers urgently to Patricia, "I think he really is who he says he is. I've seen his picture in Bloomberg." Patricia's look could freeze jet fuel. "Follow Sharon's lead. She's senior." The word senior hangs in the air like an indictment. How many times has seniority trumped sense? How many Damons have sat in coach because someone senior decided they didn't belong in first? Through the windows, Seattle grows closer. 800 miles away, a boardroom waits for Damon Pierce. They don't know their CEO is about to leverage humiliation into the kind of power play they'll teach in business schools for decades. Kyle Bennett, ground operations supervisor, boards the plane with an iPad clutched like a life preserver. His polo shirt already shows sweat stains. He knows something the others don't. The passenger manifest in his hands might as well be a bomb. "We have a situation," he announces. Then his eyes find Damon. Recognition flickers and dies, smothered by protocol. The system shows a double booking error, but he swallows hard. "Policy favors the passenger who checked in first." "Let me guess." Damon's smile could cut glass. "The white passenger checked in first?" The silence that follows is louder than engines. The word white detonates in the first-class cabin like a grenade with the pin pulled. Sharon's face flushes crimson, her professional mask finally cracking. "How dare you play the race card? This has nothing to do with what?" Damon's voice remains steady, but there's steel beneath the silk. "With the fact that Mr. Pemberton here hasn't shown a single piece of documentation? That you haven't asked him for any?" Eleanor Morrison, 82 years old, breaks the tension with a voice that's weathered decades of air travel. I've been flying for 40 years, young man. Never once seen someone in Armani expelled from first class without cause. Her pearl necklace catches the light as she turns to Sharon. Especially not when they have proper tickets. Richard Pemberton's smirk falters for half a second before returning with interest. He probably stole that suit too. They're getting creative these days. The words taste bitter even to him. The suit he's wearing cost more than most people's cars, bought in better days before creditors started calling, before his empire began its slow collapse. The "they" lands like a slap. Maya Williams' phone captures every micro-expression. Her livestream title updating, "Racist businessman says he stole the suit. Now at 50K watching." Comments explode across the screen. "This is America in 2025. Sue them into bankruptcy." Sharon looking real nervous now. "Richard Pemberton? Isn't that the guy who—" Kyle Bennett scrolls through his iPad with trembling fingers, each swipe revealing more damning evidence. The system shows everything. Damon's purchase 3 weeks ago, his frequent flyer status, his corporate account. But also Richard Pemberton's last-minute booking, flagged as priority override. Someone made a choice. Someone always makes a choice. "Sir," Bennett's voice cracks like a teenager's, "we can offer you a seat in coach. Row 37B is available." Damon laughs, but there's no humor in it. "Your airline generates $127 million annually from my company. That's 23% of your corporate revenue." He lets the numbers sink in like stones in water. "Row 37B?" Sharon rallies, grasping for any authority she has left. "Enough with the lies. Officers, remove him immediately. He's causing a disturbance, frightening passengers." "Ma'am," Marcus Thompson shifts uncomfortably, his hand nowhere near his cuffs. "The gentleman hasn't committed any crime. He's shown valid documentation. He's trespassing." Sharon's voice pitches higher, desperation leaking through. "He's refusing to comply with crew instructions." Jennifer, the junior flight attendant, can't stay silent anymore. "That's not true. He offered to show his confirmation. You wouldn't look at it." The words tumble out before she can stop them. Patricia Hayes shoots her a look that promises consequences. More passengers find their courage. Carlos Mendez, a venture capitalist from Palo Alto, stands up. "This is disgusting. The man has valid documents. We all saw them." His voice carries the authority of someone used to boardrooms and justice. "Sir, please don't interfere," Sharon snaps, but her foundation is crumbling. Tom Bradley, a middle manager from Denver, sits frozen in 3B. He's worked with diverse teams, considers himself progressive, but now faces a choice. Stand up or stay seated. He starts to rise, then catches Richard's eye and sits back down. The moment passes. He'll regret this cowardice for years. A woman in 3C starts recording on her phone. Then 4A. Within seconds, 12 different angles capture the same injustice, each destined for a different social media platform. The digital age has made witnesses of us all. Damon stands slowly, adjusting his vest with practiced precision. "I'll leave. But first..." He opens his laptop, fingers flying across the keyboard. The Nexus Dynamics logo fills the screen, followed by a dashboard that makes Kyle Bennett gasp. Annual aviation contracts, $127.3 million. Primary carrier, Skyline Airlines. Renewal date, tomorrow. Status, under review. "Sharon," Damon's voice is silk over steel. "What's your employee ID?" Pride and protocol war on Sharon's face. Pride wins. SW44471. "Report me all you want. I've been with this airline for 15 years. 15 years, Damon repeats thoughtfully. How many other passengers have you decided don't belong? Richard Pemberton, still believing he's untouchable, laughs again. Photoshop's getting good these days. Next he'll claim he owns the airline. But his voice wavers. The name Nexus Dynamics finally clicks. They're one of his largest creditors. The man he's mocking holds part of his debt. Jennifer suddenly speaks up, her voice stronger now. I can verify that dashboard. I worked in corporate partnerships before becoming crew. That's our internal system. Only C-suite executives have access. The revelation ripples through the cabin. Maya Williams' stream hits 100,000 viewers. Breaking! Other crew confirms he's telling truth! She pans to Jennifer's face, pale but determined. You're finished, Patricia hisses at Jennifer, but even she sounds uncertain now. Damon's phone buzzes with incoming calls. He declines them all, each rejection a nail in Skyline's coffin. The head of legal, the VP of corporate accounts, the entire cavalry arriving too late to stop what's already in motion. Mr. Pierce, Captain Morrison tries one last time. Surely we can resolve this. We could have, Damon agrees. 3 minutes ago. 5 minutes ago. When I showed my boarding pass. When I identified myself. When your crew chose assumption over evidence. He closes his laptop with a soft click that sounds like a judge's gavel. But Ms. Walker here was very clear. I don't belong in first class. For a moment, just a moment, Damon's composure cracks. His hand trembles slightly as he reaches for his phone again. 20 years of these moments, of proving himself over and over, and he's tired. So tired. But then he sees Maya's camera, sees the hope in her young eyes, and steel returns to his spine. Sharon's phone rings. She glances at the caller ID and goes white, her supervisor. The one who's watching Maya Williams' live stream along with 200,000 other people. Don't answer that, Richard advises, but his voice has lost its swagger. Something in the way the other first-class passengers are looking at him, like predators who've just identified prey, makes him step back. Damon pulls out his phone again, this time opening an email. The subject line is visible to anyone watching. Contract suspension notice. Effective immediately. No, Kyle Bennett breathes, his iPad clattering to the floor. No, Mr. Pierce, please. But Damon's finger is already hovering over the send button. In the coach section, someone starts a slow clap. It spreads like wildfire, the sound of 100 people who've been in row 37B when they belonged in 2A. You know what? Damon says, looking directly at Sharon. You're right. Someone like me doesn't belong here. He pauses, letting the weight of what's about to happen settle over the cabin like fog. Someone like me belongs in the boardroom, deciding whether your airline survives another quarter. Maya Williams' stream explodes. Oh my God, he's about to end their whole airline! The teenagers watching from around the world lean closer to their screens. Justice, they've learned, sometimes comes with a corporate email signature. Damon's finger touches the send button with the finality of an executioner's axe. The email disappears into the digital ether, carrying with it $127 million of annual revenue. The cabin watches in stunned silence as he stands, straightening his jacket with deliberate calm. His phone erupts immediately. The CEO of Skyline Airlines calling. Damon answers on speaker, letting Robert Sullivan's panic fill the first-class cabin like smoke from a fire. Damon! Jesus Christ, Damon, I'm seeing your assistant's messages. What the hell is happening up there? Sharon Walker freezes mid-breath. The blood drains from her face so fast that Jennifer steps forward, genuinely concerned she might faint. Kyle Bennett's iPad slips from nerveless fingers, clattering on the cabin floor with a sound like breaking bones. "Hello, Bob," Damon says conversationally. "You're on speaker. Your cabin crew can hear every word. Should I repeat what's happening, or would you like to hear it from Senior Flight Attendant Sharon Walker, employee ID SW4471? The silence on the other end stretches like a rope about to snap. Then, "Sharon who? Bennett, are you there? Kyle Bennett, I know you're on that plane." Bennett scrambles for his iPad, his voice cracking. Mr. Sullivan? Sir, Fix this now!" Sullivan's roar makes the phone speaker crackle. "Whatever's happening, fix it immediately. Damon, I'm so sorry." "Too late, Bob." Damon's voice carries the weight of every indignity, every assumption, every time someone decided he didn't belong. "Check your email. And Bob, you might want to check your stock price in about 3 minutes." He forwards Maya Williams's livestream link. The subject line reads, "Your corporate culture in action, 500K watching live." Richard Pemberton, finally understanding the magnitude of his miscalculation, tries to salvage something from the wreckage. This is elaborate. I'll give him that. But surely... His voice dies as he recognizes the iron in Damon's eyes. This is the man who holds 30% of his company's debt. The man he tried to intimidate. Sharon, desperation overriding judgment, lunges forward and grabs Damon's phone. "Stop this charade! You're destroying—" "Ma'am!" Security Officer Kevin O'Brien moves faster than his bulk suggests, intercepting her. "You cannot assault a passenger!" "Assault?" Sharon's voice spirals toward hysteria. "I'm trying to save—" Her phone rings, then Patricia's, then Jennifer's. Every Skyline employee's phone on the plane lights up simultaneously. Emergency alerts, crisis management protocols, the digital equivalent of a 5-alarm fire. Sharon answers with shaking hands. The voice on the other end is loud enough for everyone to hear. "Sharon, what have you done? The board is in emergency session. Trading's been halted. We're down 7% in 5 minutes." Bennett's laptop screen flashes red. "Contract suspension. 127 mm. Revenue impact. Emergency board meeting in progress." Captain Morrison emerges from the cockpit, his face grave. "Mr. Pierce, I've been instructed by corporate to ensure your complete satisfaction, and—" "My satisfaction?" Damon laughs, but it's sharp as winter. "Captain, your crew just attempted to remove me from a seat I paid for because Ms. Walker here decided I didn't look like I belonged. My satisfaction is no longer possible." Maya Williams' stream hits 1 million viewers. The title updates. "He owns their biggest contract. Airline losing millions live." Comments scroll too fast to read. "Destroy them, King." Sharon looking sick. Pemberton trying to disappear. This is better than Netflix. Richard Pemberton attempts to sink into his seat, but Damon's attention finds him like a spotlight. "Mr. Pemberton, weren't you eager for this seat? It's about to become available." I don't..." Richard's silver tongue finally fails him. "Interesting." Damon pulls up another screen on his phone. Richard Pemberton, CEO of Pemberton Logistics, currently 90 days past due on a $2 million contract with Nexus Dynamics. He looks up, meeting Richard's horrified eyes. "You thought taking my seat would intimidate me before tomorrow's collection meeting?" The revelation hits the cabin like turbulence. Maya screams into her phone. "This was corporate warfare. He tried to punk him before a business meeting. This is insane." Richard's face crumbles. My company. We're trying to restructure. I thought if I could just show strength." The admission hangs in the air, pathetic in its desperation. Sharon, watching her career dissolve in real time, drops to her knees. "Please, Mr. Pierce, I didn't know. I made assumptions. I'll lose everything, my pension, my benefits. I have children." "You have children?" Damon's voice could freeze flame. "What do you teach them about judging people by their skin color?" The question breaks something in Sharon. For the first time in 15 years, she truly sees herself. "Oh God," she whispers. "Oh my God, what have I been doing?" Jennifer steps forward, finding courage in catastrophe. "Mr. Pierce, I testified against Sharon last year. 47 complaints in 3 years. Management buried everyone." The number hangs in the air like a noose. 47 other Damons, 47 other moments of humiliation, 47 times the system protected itself instead of its victims. "Is that true?" Captain Morrison turns to Patricia Hayes, his disgust evident. 47 complaints? Patricia's silence is confession enough. Damon turns his laptop camera toward Jennifer. "Tell my viewers, all 2 million of them now. Tell them about the complaints." Maya's stream explodes as celebrity shares pour in. LeBron James. "This is why we fly private. At Skyline, explain this." Oprah retweets with, "Systemic, disgusting. Where's the accountability?" Sullivan calls again, this time on Morrison's phone. The captain reluctantly hands it to Damon. "Damon, please, the board is breathing down my neck. Our stock is in freefall. Whatever you want." "What I wanted," Damon says clearly, ensuring every phone captures every word, "was to sit in the seat I paid for without being treated like a criminal. That window has closed, Bob. Name your terms. Anything." "Anything." Damon smiles, but it's the smile of a predator who's cornered its prey. "All right, Bob. Let's discuss the future of Skyline Airlines. But first, I believe row 37B is waiting for me." He steps past Sharon's kneeling form, past Richard's calculated disappearance into his seat, past the crew members who suddenly can't meet his eyes. The security officers part like the Red Sea. Tom Bradley, the middle manager who stayed silent, finally finds his voice. "Mr. Pierce, I should have spoken up. I'm sorry. It's too little, too late, but it's something." As Damon walks toward coach, first-class passengers start pulling out their phones, not to record, but to call their assistants, their brokers, their lawyers. If Damon Pierce can destroy an airline with an email, what else is possible? Behind him, Sharon's sobs mix with the ding of notifications, each one another nail in Skyline's coffin. The mighty airline, brought to its knees by the man they said didn't belong. "Wait!" Sharon screams. "Please, I'll do anything. I'll resign. I'll apologize publicly. Please don't destroy us all." Damon pauses at the curtain dividing first class from coach. "Destroy you? Ms. Walker, I'm not destroying anything." He looks back, and his smile is terrible in its satisfaction. "I'm simply treating your airline exactly the way you treated me, like you don't belong in business class." But as he turns away, his hands shake slightly. Victory, he's learning, can taste as bitter as defeat when it comes at such a cost. Damon settles into seat 37B, the middle seat between a construction worker and a college student. The irony is perfection. A billionaire CEO squeezed into the least desirable spot on the plane, by choice. He opens his laptop, and what appears on screen makes the construction worker gasp. A conference room materializes in high definition. The entire board of directors of Nexus Dynamics assembled, their faces grave. CFO Linda Mitchell speaks first. "Damon, we're all here. Legal team standing by. What's your call?" "Initiate Protocol 7, Damon says calmly. Full suspension of all partnerships pending review. The college student beside him, recording everything, whispers, "Holy shit, what's Protocol 7? Damon angles the screen so both can see. "It's our nuclear option. Protocol 7 allows us to freeze all contracts if a partner demonstrates systemic discrimination. We've never used it before." He pauses. "We've been saving it for the right moment." On Maya Williams' live stream, someone shares a Bloomberg terminal screenshot. Skyline stock price plummeting, down 12%, 15, 20. Trading halted. The financial bloodbath spreads across social media like wildfire. Captain Morrison's voice crackles over the intercom. "Ladies and gentlemen, we have an unprecedented situation. All first-class passengers are requested to remain seated for an important announcement." Kyle Bennett appears in coach, sweat pouring down his face, iPad clutched like a lifeline. "Mr. Pierce, please, I'm begging you. Come back to first class. Take any seat you want. Take all the seats." Damon doesn't look up from his screen. "I'm comfortable here. With, as your colleague put it, my people." The construction worker beside him, a black man named Jerome, laughs bitterly. "Been there, brother. They did the same to me on United last year." "And me on Delta," adds Maria, a Latina nurse across the aisle. "Somehow my first-class upgrade disappeared when I showed up." Suddenly, coach becomes a testimony service. Passenger after passenger, sharing stories of degradation, assumptions, humiliations. Maya Williams pans her camera across their faces, and America watches its ugliness reflected back in real time. Sharon Walker appears at the coach curtain, mascara streaming down her face, designer uniform disheveled. "I'm sorry. I made assumptions. I was wrong, please." "You weren't wrong," Damon interrupts. "You were precise, calculated. You knew exactly what you were doing." He pulls up another screen. 47 complaints in 3 years. Want to know the pattern? The data appears on his screen, shared to Maya's stream. Every complaint against Sharon involves a passenger of color. Every single one. "That's not random," Damon continues. "That's not assumption. That's strategy." Sharon's knees buckle. "They told us, in training, they said to maintain cabin harmony, to ensure passenger comfort. I thought I was doing my job." "You were," Damon says quietly. "That's the problem." Richard Pemberton is dragged past them by security, his protests falling on deaf ears, but Damon raises a hand. "Wait, bring him here." Security deposits Richard in the aisle, where he stands like a defendant awaiting sentencing. The man who an hour ago radiated arrogance now looks broken, older, smaller. "Mr. Pemberton, you thought this was about intimidation before tomorrow's meeting. But there is no meeting tomorrow." Richard's face cycles through confusion to horror as Damon explains. "We filed for immediate asset seizure on your defaulted payments yesterday. Your company accounts were frozen at 2 p.m. You knew this. That's why you needed to establish dominance, create the narrative that you're still a player." "You set me up," Richard breathes. "No," Damon corrects. "You revealed yourself. I just made sure the world was watching." Richard's shoulders slump. 20 years building that company. 20 years. And it's gone because I couldn't admit I was failing. Because I needed to feel superior to someone. He looks at Damon with hollow eyes. "I destroyed everything trying to prove I still mattered." Maya's stream title updates. Plot twist, racist businessman was already bankrupt. The viewers go wild. This isn't just justice. It's Shakespearean. Robert Sullivan calls again, this time on Kyle Bennett's phone. Bennett reluctantly hands it over. "Damon, the board is offering Sharon's termination, full investigation, and—" "Bob," Damon cuts him off. I'm about to share something with these 2 million viewers. Nexus Dynamics isn't just my company. It's owned by a consortium of black and brown entrepreneurs. We control contracts worth $800 million across the airline industry. The implication hits like a tsunami. This isn't about one contract. It's about an entire industry's revenue stream. We've been documenting incidents like this for 5 years, Damon continues. 734 verified cases across 15 airlines. We formed the consortium specifically for this moment, when one of us would be in position to demand system-wide change. Jennifer, the flight attendant who spoke up, approaches nervously. Mr. Pierce? I have something. She holds out her phone, showing internal Skyline emails. I've been collecting evidence, training documents that explicitly tell us to profile for comfort of premium passengers, code words, dog whistles. It's all here. Damon smiles, the first genuine smile since this began. Jennifer, what's your employee ID? JH8823, sir. You just became Skyline's new VP of Equity and Inclusion. Congratulations. Patricia Hayes shrieks. You can't do that. You don't have the authority. Sullivan's voice booms from the phone. He does now. The board just gave Mr. Pierce full authority over personnel decisions. Jennifer, you report directly to me, starting immediately. But here's where Damon surprises everyone. There's one condition, Bob. Sharon Walker stays on. The cabin goes silent. Sharon looks up, uncomprehending. She'll work under Jennifer, helping to dismantle the system she helped enforce. She knows where all the bodies are buried. Use that knowledge for good, Sharon. That's your penance. Sharon breaks completely, sobbing with a mix of shame and gratitude. It's not forgiveness. It's opportunity for redemption. The cascade begins. Maya's stream shows other airlines' stock prices dropping. Delta down 5%. United down 7%. American down 4%. Southwest holding steady. They immediately announce full cooperation with whatever Damon demands. The market is pricing in the reckoning that's coming. But here's the real twist. Damon addresses the camera directly. We're not pulling our contracts, we're expanding them to every airline that agrees to implement the Pierce Protocol within 30 days. He outlines it rapidly. Body cameras for all disputes, AI-powered bias detection, third-party investigation of all complaints, zero tolerance with immediate termination, public reporting of all incidents. Comply and thrive, he concludes. Resist and watch your competitors eat your market share. The plane begins its descent into Seattle. Through the windows, the city sprawls below, unaware that 30,000 feet above, the entire airline industry just changed forever. Maya Williams signs off her stream with tears in her eyes. Y'all just witnessed history. A black CEO just ended airline racism. In coach, in the middle seat. And I got it all on video. The applause starts in coach and spreads like revolution. By the time it reaches first class, even the passengers who stayed silent are clapping. Not for the drama, but for the future, where their children might fly without fear of humiliation. One more thing, Damon adds, looking directly at camera. This video? It's evidence in a class action lawsuit we're filing tomorrow. Every person who's ever been profiled, degraded, or removed from a seat they paid for, we're coming for justice. All of it. Tom Bradley, the middle manager who failed to act, approaches as they taxi. Mr. Pierce, I need to be better. We all do. Thank you for showing us that silence is complicity. Damon nods, exhausted now that the adrenaline is fading. Being better starts with speaking up. Next time, don't wait for someone else to be brave. The plane touches down in Seattle, but nobody moves. History is still being written in the space between landing and disembarking. Within minutes, Skyline's emergency board meeting concludes with surgical precision. Robert Sullivan's voice echoes through Kyle Bennett's phone. Effective immediately. Patricia Hayes, terminated. Kyle Bennett, demoted to training coordinator under Jennifer Harrison. Captain Morrison. I resign, Morrison interrupts over the intercom. 30 years I've flown these skies. Today I failed my duty. Mr. Pierce, I apologize. To all of you, I'm sorry. The captain's wings hit the galley counter with finality. Damon stands, and 3 lawyers from his legal team board the plane. Ladies and gentlemen, he addresses the cabin. Every second of footage becomes part of the public record. No NDAs, no buried settlements, full transparency. Within an hour, Damon commands the war room at SeaTac Airport. But the victory feels hollow as exhaustion sets in. 20 years of fighting this fight, and he's tired. His hands shake as he fields calls from airline CEOs. The Pierce protocol isn't negotiable, he tells each caller, though his voice carries less triumph than determination. Delta's chief agrees immediately. American's board debates for 10 minutes before capitulating. Only United resists, and their stock price immediately drops another 12%. Lead attorney Samantha Davis announces 1,800 plaintiffs in the first hour, estimated damages, $400 million. Maya Williams documents everything, her follower count exploding past 2 million. Breaking, Delta implements Pierce protocol immediately. American Airlines follows, United losing millions per minute. Jennifer Harrison sits across from Damon as he outlines her new role. You'll report directly to the CEO. First task, audit everything. Every manual, every training video, every whispered instruction that enables discrimination. I won't let you down, Jennifer promises. Sharon Walker emerges from airport security. The crowd of protesters parts as she walks through. She stops, faces the cameras. I was trained to profile, rewarded for it, promoted because of it. I'm not excusing what I did. But I'm not the only one. This system created thousands of me. The confession goes viral, adding fuel to an already raging fire. By evening, the dominoes fall faster. Sullivan announces his resignation. 3 board members follow. But more importantly, competitors scramble to implement changes before Damon's consortium targets them. Richard Pemberton's fate unfolds on social media. Photos surface of him being escorted from his office. His bankruptcy filing reveals a pattern of discrimination lawsuits. The headline, Karma at 30,000 feet. But in a quiet moment, Richard approaches Damon in the airport. I lost everything trying to feel superior. My company, my reputation, my family's respect. His voice breaks. Thank you for stopping me before I lost my soul, too. Damon convenes with his consortium via secure video. 12 CEOs of color controlling nearly $1 billion in aviation contracts. Phase 1 complete, he announces. Phase 2 begins now. They unveil the Dignity in Flight app. Real-time reporting. AI-powered analysis. Direct legal connection. Free to download, impossible to ignore. The app gains 100,000 downloads in the first hour. As night falls, Damon finally checks into his hotel. The acquisition that brought him here seems quaint now. His phone buzzes with interview requests from every major outlet. He declines them all, instead posting a single tweet. Dignity isn't negotiable. It never was. Download the app. Share your story. Demand better. #DignityInFlight. But alone in his room, the weight crashes down. His hands won't stop shaking. The adrenaline that carried him through the confrontation abandons him, leaving only exhaustion. He calls his therapist, Dr. Marcus Thompson, one of the few people who understands the toll of being a symbol when you just want to be human. "I won," he tells her. "So why do I feel so empty?" "Because you shouldn't have had to fight this battle," she responds. "The victory is necessary, but the war shouldn't exist." Maya Williams ends her marathon coverage. "Y'all see what happens when we refuse to move? When we document instead of doubt? When we stand together? They moved mountains today." In his hotel room, Damon finally allows himself a moment of grief. For all the dignity stolen over the years, for all the fights that should never have been necessary, for the energy spent on battles that shouldn't exist. His phone rings. His daughter from Howard University. "Dad, I saw everything. Are you okay?" "I'm better than okay, baby," he says, though his voice catches. "Today, we changed the sky." "Mom would be proud," she says, "but she'd also tell you to rest. You can't carry everyone's battles." Damon smiles, remembering his late wife. "Yeah, she would. Tomorrow, I rest. Tonight, we changed the world." "Just remember," his daughter adds with wisdom beyond her years, "you're allowed to be human too. Even heroes need to heal." 1 week later, the Hart Senate office building buzzes with purpose. Senator Elizabeth Warren gavels the hearing to order. The committee will now examine discriminatory practices in commercial aviation. Damon sits at the witness table, the same calm masking deeper exhaustion. Behind him, Sharon Walker waits to testify, transformed from adversary to ally. "Mr. Pierce," Senator Warren begins, "your incident has exposed aviation's systemic discrimination. Can you speak to this?" Damon leans forward. "Senator, in 1 week, our app documented 4,700 incidents. This isn't about bad apples. This is about poisoned orchards." The data appears on screens throughout the chamber. Heat maps of discrimination. Charts showing racial correlation with random checks. America's ugliness quantified and undeniable. Maria Rodriguez, Skyline's new CEO and first Latina airline chief, testifies. "The Pierce Protocol is now standard. We've seen a 67% reduction in incidents. Not hidden, prevented." Sharon Walker's testimony devastates. "I was taught to see threat in black skin. They didn't use those words, but we all knew. Protect premium passenger comfort meant keep first class white." She details everything. Training methods, coded language, reward systems. 40 minutes of devastating honesty. "Mr. Pierce saved my soul," she concludes. "I lost my job, but found my conscience." 6 months pass in revolutionary blur. The EU adopts the Pierce Protocol wholesale. Asian carriers implement modified versions. African airlines use it as a decolonization model. Maya Williams wins a Peabody Award. Her acceptance speech. "I just held up a phone." Damon Pierce held up a mirror. The ripple effects spread beyond aviation. Hotels, restaurants, retail chains, all implementing bias prevention systems. What started in Seat 2A reaches every corner of commerce. Jennifer Harrison presents at the International Air Transport Association. 8,000 historical complaints processed, 43 million in settlements, 200 terminations, and customer satisfaction is at record highs. The Pierce Foundation provides free legal support to discrimination victims. Their Atlanta office processes 100 cases daily. The Wall quotes Baldwin, "Not everything that is faced can be changed, but nothing can be changed until it is faced." Sharon Walker's redemption continues. Her TED Talk, "I Was Trained to Be Racist," reaches 10 million views. She works tirelessly, using insider knowledge to dismantle the system she once upheld. Boeing partners with Nexus to develop Project Dignity, AI detecting discrimination in real time. Beta testing shows 92% accuracy in predicting bias incidents. 1 year later, Damon boards the same flight. Same route, same time, but everything has changed. The crew greets everyone equally. First class reflects actual diversity. Sharon Walker is on the same flight, heading to another speaking engagement. They nod, not friends, but no longer enemies. Two people whose collision made the world better. Captain Morrison, back flying for a regional carrier after soul-searching months, announces, "Welcome aboard Dignity Flight 1, honoring those who made our skies safer for everyone." The plane bears special livery, Rosa Parks, Cesar Chavez, civil rights heroes. Damon insisted his image not be included. "This isn't about me, it's about the next person who boards." Maya posts an update. 1 year ago, a man refused to leave his seat. Today, millions fly without fear. Tomorrow, we keep pushing. Dignity in flight. But not every airline adapts. United, still resisting, loses 30% market share. Their CEO resigns after leaked emails show deliberate foot-dragging. Some battles continue. In his hotel that night, Damon video calls his consortium. "We've changed aviation. Next, hotels, banking, healthcare, systemic change, industry by industry." But success carries a price. Damon's relationship with his brother strains. "You've become a symbol, not a person," his brother says. Old friends distance themselves, unsure how to relate to the man who became a movement. His therapist helps him navigate the isolation. "You can be both human and hero," she reminds him, "but not everyone will understand that duality." 2 years pass. The movement grows beyond Damon's control, and that's exactly right. Local chapters form. Young activists take the torch. The fight evolves beyond any one person. At the Global Aviation Summit, Damon delivers his keynote to 10,000, but the real moment comes after, when a young black girl approaches. "Mr. Pierce, I'm starting my own company. Because of you, I know I belong in any room I enter." "You always belonged," he tells her. "I just made sure everyone else knows it too." The transformation isn't complete. It never is. Some airlines find workarounds. Some staff resist change. Some passengers cling to old prejudices. But the tide has turned. The sky, once hostile territory for so many, becomes a little freer each day. Tom Bradley, the middle manager who stayed silent, now leads diversity training at his company. "Mr. Pierce taught me that silence is complicity. I teach that lesson every day." Richard Pemberton, rebuilding his life, works with ex-offenders on re-entry. "I learned that superiority is an illusion. We all deserve dignity." Even failures become lessons. A copycat app trying to monetize discrimination reports fails spectacularly, reinforcing that some fights can't be commercialized. The Pierce Protocol evolves, adapting to new forms of bias, new technologies, new challenges. But the core remains. Dignity is non-negotiable, and the whole world is watching. 2 years later, Damon Pierce boards Skyline Flight 447 for the last time before his keynote at the Global Aviation Summit. Same route, same aircraft type, seat 2A, but the world has shifted on its axis. The young black girl in 2B looks up from her Yale acceptance letter as he settles in. Her mother leans over, whispers just loud enough, "Sophia, that's Mr. Pierce. He made sure you'll never have to question if you belong here." Sophia studies him with fearless eyes. Made what possible? Her mother's eyes glisten. Made sure you can sit anywhere you want, baby. First class, boardroom, wherever your ticket says you belong. Damon smiles, helping an elderly passenger with her luggage. A simple gesture that once marked him as someone who didn't belong, now just marks him as human. Full circle from arrogance to humility, from humiliation to humanity. The final statistics scroll across his tablet. 2.3 million discrimination reports filed. 8,400 airline employees terminated for bias. 1.2 billion in settlements. 94% reduction in profiling incidents. But numbers never tell the whole story. Captain Morrison's voice crackles over the intercom. Yes, the same Morrison, rehired after intensive equity training. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome aboard. Today we fly with the most diverse passenger manifest in our history, because the sky belongs to everyone. Maya Williams, now a Pulitzer Prize winner, sends him a message. Can you believe it's been 2 years? He responds, the live stream didn't change anything. People choosing to act on what they saw, that changed everything. The plane fills with beautiful chaos. A Sikh family in first class, a transgender couple holding hands, an elderly black veteran finally using his first-class upgrade without fear. Each passenger a testament to progress. Sharon Walker boards, taking her seat in coach. She catches Damon's eye, nods. They've spoken at 17 conferences together now, their story becoming legend. The woman who learned to see, the man who refused to be unseen. As the plane climbs, Damon opens his summit speech. The title, Turbulence to Transformation, How Dignity Became Non-Negotiable. But the words that matter most are his conclusion. When you have power, and we all have power in some moment, you choose. Use it to preserve comfort or ensure dignity. Use it to maintain systems or shatter them. Use it to fly alone or make sure everyone can soar. His phone buzzes. His daughter, now a civil rights lawyer. Dad, our hotel industry case just got certified, following your playbook. He smiles, but there's weariness too. The revolution spread beyond aviation, but revolutions exhaust their leaders. Hotels, restaurants, banks, each victory hard won, each battlefield leaving scars. Yet in this moment, flying over America, he finds peace. Not the peace of completion, this work is never done, but the peace of purpose fulfilled. Would you like anything, Mr. Pierce? The flight attendant serves everyone with identical warmth. Just water, thank you. As Seattle approaches, he thinks about costs uncounted. Friends lost, who couldn't understand his transformation from CEO to symbol. The relationship that couldn't survive the pressure. The quiet moments stolen by a movement that demanded everything. His final tweet before landing. Dignity is non-negotiable. Pass it on. It spreads like wildfire, translated, shared, painted on signs, taught in schools. A simple truth that took complex battles to establish. The plane touches down smoothly. As passengers disembark, young Sophia tugs her mother's hand. Mom, can I be like Mr. Pierce? Baby, her mother says, you already are. Every time you walk in a room knowing you belong there, you are. Damon pauses at the jet bridge, looking back at the plane that became battlefield, courtroom, classroom. Tomorrow, thousands will hear his keynote. But today, in this moment, he's just a man who kept his seat and changed the world. Not every battle was won. United Airlines finally implemented the Pierce Protocol only after losing 40% market share. Some hearts remained unchanged. Some systems found new ways to discriminate. The work continues. But here, now, the sky is clear over Seattle. Somewhere, a plane takes off carrying passengers who will never know his name, but benefit from his stand. Somewhere, a child boards their first flight without fear. Somewhere, dignity finds its wings. As he walks toward tomorrow, Damon allows himself one last thought. They tried to remove him from first class. Instead, he removed the barriers keeping millions from flying free. His daughter meets him at baggage claim. "Dad, you look tired." "I am tired," he admits. "But it's the good kind, the kind that comes from work that matters." "Mom would be proud," she says. "She'd be prouder of you," he responds. "You're continuing the fight without the anger that started mine. That's evolution." They walk together toward the exit, toward the summit, toward whatever battles remain. Behind them, Flight 447 prepares for its return journey, carrying new passengers into a sky that belongs to everyone. The young girl, Sophia, watches from the terminal window as planes take off and land. Her mother stands beside her. "Remember this feeling," her mother says. "Remember that you belong wherever you choose to go." "I will," Sophia promises. And in her eyes burns the same fire that once lit in Damon Pierce, not the fire of anger, but of possibility. Sometimes the greatest journeys begin with refusing to move. Sometimes one person's dignity becomes everyone's freedom. Sometimes changing your seat changes the world. Dignity is non-negotiable. Pass it on.